Hi everyone, welcome back to Listen. We're talking about Argentina today. Something strange is happening. Inflation, which used to spiral out of control there, seems to have finally been tamed. This sounds good. But even though the numbers on paper do look good, many ordinary Argentinians still can't afford the basics, like food, electricity, and medicine. So let's take a look at this and break it down. Inflation's down, but life's still hard. Let's start with what the government is celebrating. Since President Javier Milei took office in December 2023, inflation has dropped from over 25% per month to just 4.2% in May, and even 1.8% in June. And this is the lowest monthly rate in over 2 years. Inflation is the rate at which prices increase. When we say inflation is tamed, it means it's brought under control. So that might sound like cause for celebration, but in Buenos Aires, many people are still feeling the pinch. Feeling the pinch means experiencing financial hardship. They're feeling the pinch. Lights off to save money. Silvia Montiel is a 60-year-old woman living in a working-class suburb. She lives on a monthly pension of 260,000 pesos, which is about $230. Her pension covers rent, some groceries, but that's about it. So how does she cope? How does she manage? She says, "I live in the dark to save electricity. I only turn on the light when it gets really dark." When we say cope here, we mean to manage or to deal with difficulties. And live in the dark is both literal and metaphorical. It shows just how far people are going to cut costs, just what they are doing in order to cut costs. She's even cut back on food. She says, "I don't eat much. I used to buy 3 yogurts. Now I buy 1. If I eat, I can't pay for electricity. And if I pay for electricity, I can't eat." When you cut back on something, this means to reduce consumption or spending. You cut back. We cut back on cigarettes, we cut back on alcohol, to cut back. So this is a no-win situation. This is a choice between 2 essential things, where every choice, either choice, has a bad outcome, a no-win situation. And this woman has been working her whole life. She's in a no-win situation. Milei's radical approach. President Milei has described himself as an anarcho-capitalist. He's promised to slash public spending to stabilize the economy. To slash means to reduce drastically. He called his economic plan a chainsaw plan. This gives you a pretty clear picture of how deep the cuts are. In fact, his first few months in office saw the sharpest spending cuts in Argentina's history, even deeper than those made during the 2001 financial crisis in the country. Spending cuts refer to reductions in government expenses. And when he was talking about a chainsaw plan, this is a metaphor for cutting through systems quickly and aggressively, a chainsaw plan. The IMF is happy, but people are not. Milei's actions won praise from international investors and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. In June, the IMF approved a $792 million loan payment to Argentina, saying that Argentina had made strong progress in restoring macroeconomic stability. They won praise. This means to receive compliments or approval. And macroeconomic stability, this just refers to overall economic health and balance. But here's the rub. Here's the problem. Here's the rub. Even with inflation cooling, reducing, basic costs remain sky high. Sky high means extremely expensive. Basic costs remain sky high for everyday people. The prices of meat and dairy are still rising, even as the inflation rate falls. Low inflation, high prices. This part can feel confusing. How can inflation fall while prices still go up? You need to understand that inflation is a measure of how fast prices rise, not whether they are high or low overall. So if prices went up 200% last year, and this year they're only going up 10%, inflation is low. But the total cost of goods is still very high. So it's a measure, inflation is a measure of how fast prices rise. Measure just means a way to calculate something. This helps explain the difference between price level, prices, and inflation rates, the measure. In other words, the damage has been done, and people are still trying to catch up. When I say the damage has been done, this means something harmful has already happened, and the effects remain. What experts are saying. Sergio Chuza is an economist and professor at a university in Buenos Aires. He says that while inflation is falling, the cost of living is still through the roof. Through the roof means extremely high. Prices are going through the roof. Just means extremely high. He adds that the economic reactivation is still slow and employment remains high. He means that even if prices aren't rising as fast as they have been, wages haven't kept up and jobs are still hard to find. Kept up means to match the pace of something. Wages haven't kept up. Who's paying the price? Chuza points out that those hit hardest by Milei's policies are the same people who are already vulnerable. Retirees, people who are retired from work, public employees, and workers who have lost subsidies through the cuts. Hit hardest means most affected. And those working in informal jobs, like street vendors or domestic workers, they're also left behind. Left behind means excluded or not helped. Looking ahead, there's still a long road ahead. Inflation may be down, but real recovery will require more than numbers on a chart. People need purchasing power. They need decent wages and public services to truly feel relief. Purchasing power here means how much you can buy with your income. There's a saying here, you can't eat statistics. This means the numbers may look good, but people can't live off data. You can't eat statistics. Facts and figures don't help if your basic needs aren't met. Closing thoughts. To wrap it all up, to conclude, to wrap it all up. Argentina's new president has managed to put the brakes on inflation, to slow down inflation. But for many, the cost of living is still out of reach. People are sacrificing food, they are sacrificing electricity and comfort just to get by. To get by means surviving, but only just in this context. They're sacrificing necessities just to get by. And this is a stark reminder that economic stability on paper doesn't always mean real-life stability. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to follow, share it with a friend. We'll be back soon. Until next time, bye-bye for now.